Talking college sports in the Deep South, where college football is king. Man, we talk a lot of trash about the SEC being the best conference in all of college football. But I think the people in the Deep South can really back that thing up, because you talk about the SEC. You can't talk about the SEC without mentioning national championships, NFL drafts, one of the better recruiting classes for, most of the teams in the SEC, especially the high-tier teams like Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Auburn, Florida, Texas A&M, hell, most of the conference. Is always up for debate, constantly in the conversation for national championship college playoff appearances. The list goes on and on. We also want to think that the SEC West is arguably one of the more competitive sub-conferences in all of college football because of the fierce rivalries. I mean, you talk about the in-state rivalry between Ole Miss and Mississippi State, Auburn and Alabama. You also talk about the interconnecting rivalries like Alabama and LSU. Here recently, one of my favorite rivalries has been Auburn and Texas A&M. Very, very interesting rivalry. For a long time, the home team actually was at a disadvantage until Auburn ended that a year ago. All right, guys, once again, it's K2 to go for Vernon Speaks Sports. We're talking Auburn football. In East Alabama, where Auburn University rests, they call that place the loveliest village on the plains, where the battle cry is a resounding War Eagle. All right, guys, let's get this comment section active like we always do. We'll get a lot of good content from the comment section. You fearless and true gang members also got some Gus haters in here. We welcome everybody and some of our Auburn enthusiasts, Auburn alumni. Once again, War Eagle. We're talking about depth today. We're also going to be talking about the secondary position, which I'm very intrigued about going into the 2019 season. When we look at the Auburn Tigers going into 2019, approaching a much anticipated battle with the Oregon Ducks in the Advocare Classic. Big shout out to some of my Oregon subscribers. Also, we got 6 guys coming on each side of the football field coming back. That's a wealth of experience. And when you look at Auburn historically, usually when there are 10 or more starters returning, that usually turns into success for the Auburn Tigers, War Eagle. Now, when we talk about the defensive side of the football field, which I think is going to be very important, especially with having an inexperienced quarterback, the offensive line looking to gel, new offensive coordinator. But on the defensive side of the field, you want to think that there's a lot more solidarity. You have Kevin Steele, who's been there a number of years. Also, the promotion of Travis Williams, former Auburn linebacker from back in 2004, is now the co-defensive coordinator and linebackers coach. They bring back a wealth of talent, especially along the line of scrimmage. You're talking about the return of Derek Brown, which started this whole casual optimism that actually helped Auburn from a staffing standpoint on defense, to where now you have some options to where you can move some guys around and you don't have to worry so much about the defensive line, as you have pretty much a brand new defensive core, which will presumably be led by KJ Britt. Also, we're looking at Owen Pappo, who had a very strong showing in the spring game. Michael Harris, very athletic as well. Look to have McClain back as well at linebacker. But as we look at the secondary, this is the position on the field that I'm the most intrigued by because of all the options that they have. I'm very excited about Christian Tutt being moved to the nickel back position. I felt that Javaris Davis was a lot better at the boundary cornerback. He's proven that over his time as an Auburn Tiger. But when I look at the safety position, man, we got to get real excited about this. For one, we would like to presume that Jeremiah Denson will be safety, as well as, on the other side, looking at this thing from a safety standpoint, you're looking at Jeremiah Denson and you're looking at Daniel Thomas, who has been a very, very good mainstay, did a good job of helping to supplement the loss of Trey Matthews. He's very active with run support. Now, when I look at the guys behind him, man, I get very excited about this, because you look at guys like Jamien Sherwood out of Jensen Beach, Florida, 4-star recruit, very athletic, has long arms, about 6'1", 6'2", very physical, especially at the point of attack. He has a knack for staying with his receivers. Has very good coordination, very good hip movement, especially for a safety. Will add a lot of athleticism at the safety position. Not a lot of highlights on him, but he did also show, which I really like out of the safety position, is having a knack of maneuvering through the line of scrimmage to create pressure on the quarterback. He had a couple of sacks last year that were huge for the Auburn Tigers. So, when you look at this athleticism, these guys, reminds me a little bit of Steven Roberts from a couple of years ago for the Auburn Tigers, who was very long, very lanky, very sure tackler. But when you look at Jamien Sherwood, I think he's a lot more physical at the point of attack than Steven Roberts was. Now, Steven Roberts, a very, very great athlete, but I think Jamien Sherwood will prove to be a little bit more on the elite side. Also, super excited about the return of Quindarius. He likes to call himself Smoke Monday. He's a high-end 4-star recruit out of Carver High School in Atlanta. Had some very memorable moments on last season as a true freshman. A nice hit. It was in the Ole Miss game. As a matter of fact, one thing that Smoke Monday, he's so physical. It always seems to be in such attack mode that he's going to have to be very careful with targeting penalties. That even dates back to his time in high school, because when you talk about a guy that lays the hat, Smoke Monday is coming up to hit. Okay, this is not a situation where, he's going to arm tackle you. He's coming with anger. He's coming with physicality. And that's something that Smoke Monday is definitely going to have to work on, is technique, as far as he really threads the needle really close when it comes to those targeting penalties. And as we all know, with the targeting penalty, that can be detrimental, especially if done, say, in the second half. That means you miss the first half of the next week. So very excited about those two guys. Like I said before, one thing you're going to get out of Smoke Monday and Jamien Sherwood is a lot of physicality. And if you think about what Auburn likes to do, of course, we're going to have a lot more athleticism at the linebacker position. The safeties have actually had to really help in run support because of some of the lack of elitism with the linebacker core. But you combine these guys with a very athletic linebacker core and with a super talented, super, experienced defensive line, there's no reason to believe that this Auburn defense can't be one of the better defenses in the country. Also, we look on the other side of the football field with, Bo Nix and Joey Gatewood as the presumed competition for the starting role at the quarterback position. I was looking at a little film on Joey Gatewood last night, and I was really, really kind of, excited about what he could possibly bring in his upside. I really like some of his quarterback draws. I think he needs to tuck the ball, though. He was getting real loose with the ball. But very, very excited to see what he can do. Of course, we know what Bo Nix can do. Obviously, Mr. Alabama for the state of Alabama, Pinson Valley High School, 2-time state champion, son of former Auburn quarterback Patrick Nix. Got a lot of quarterbacking in his blood, so I think Auburn will be in great shape there coming into the Advocare Classic. Now, I'm going to have a little bit more content when we talk about this quarterback battle, because Andy Avalos, the defensive coordinator for Oregon, provides a very intriguing approach towards the defensive side of the football field. We're going to talk about that in a later video. But when we talk about the Auburn Tigers, with the experience coming back on both sides, especially at the offensive line for the Auburn Tigers, you also have Boobie Whitlow, who's going to play a huge role as well. But like I said before, you got to think about this defense and how nasty this defense can possibly be when you have guys like Quindarius Smoke Monday out of Carver High School, 4-star recruit, and Jamien Sherwood. I think these guys not necessarily are going to start, but they're going to be very productive in the outcome of Auburn's fate defensive-wise this year. They're going to get a lot of reps this year. And also, we got to think about Zion Puckett, who will also be, factored into the equation as well. I think he was a great athlete, like a lot of what I saw on film from him as well, out of Griffin High School in Middle Georgia. All right, guys, that's all we got for now here on Vernon Speak Sports TV. We're talking Auburn football like nobody else's business. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, Vernon Speak Sports Auburn. Let's go ahead and get this comment section active. I get a lot of great information out of the comment section. Like the video, subscribe, like I said before. War Eagle.